Well, it's kind of Dave and I were talking, and we thought we should probably have something get together to see what is happening. And I know, well, first of all, make sure you turn your mics off if you're not talking. Make sure the mics are turned off so we don't get any background or anything like that. And also try to use the chat. Put things in the chat, and maybe we'll try to get to them, or maybe somebody will see it and they can answer it prior to that. That would help out, I think, a lot. So, I mean, all of us are in a unique situation, and every one of us, our school districts are all doing something different. Nobody is, and we're all at different spots. Those of you up northern Michigan have it. I don't know how you're doing it compared to us down this way. So it's just trying to share ideas. And the biggest thing too, if you have something, we need to share this. We need to give it to David, whether it be a video. He'll edit the video. It doesn't matter. You can record it on your phone and he can do editing to it. And so we can get this stuff on the website so that people can go to the website and just grab it, and do stuff with it. Cause he's starting to create a YouTube channel for MITES. So like videos we could put on there. It doesn't have to be just any video, just basic bandsaw video or cable saw video. I know, Jeff, you have some stuff out there because you
One
and I
of the other things we can do, sorry, Pete, if you guys have lesson plans that work or units, you can start sending me those too, and we'll get those up. I guess really the big thing is, with everything going on, let's start sharing all the resources that work, so we don't all have to recreate the wheel.
So, I mean, I'll open it up if somebody wants to say something or talk about something. So,
all helpful.
Put it up, Jenny.
Hi, everyone. My name's Lauren. I'm just wondering if we're thinking about, I know the competition was canceled in the spring, last spring, unfortunately, but are we thinking at all about possibly doing a virtual competition this year if we cannot get together in person?
We're not hurt. I can't say yes or no on that. The board has yet to meet, the exec board. So that's something I know in our upcoming meeting that we are for surely going to be talking about as to looking forward as to what we're going to end up doing. I do know that David and I have been talking, and we really want to try to get some PD stuff out there so that we can start offering that even throughout the school year. So that question it's been brought up a few of us, but it hasn't yet been discussed with the board yet.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, this is Jim. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I just rattled the cage of my local rep who failed in his. He was trying to get us some money and never came through. The governor killed it once, and he said, last I knew, he's putting it through again, a different method. And I've not heard anything back. And he failed in his attempt to be a U.S. rep, but he's still in there till next November, I guess, or next December. So I emailed him and left a phone message to see what the scoop was on getting their $50,000 that he promised a year ago, which the governor canceled once. Then he said he found another way to put it through, but haven't seen the money yet. That's the latest and the worst of that. And I'm still looking. I'm always looking for ways to get us some money.
So the question was just asked by Lois, do we have a list of websites that are worth using? I think if anybody else is interested, we could put something like that together, where you guys could submit them through the website, and then it would keep a categorized list. Is there any interest in that?
Yeah, I know. Are you talking about Artsonia, Lois? I mean, yeah. Because our art teacher does this thing, it's called Artsonia, and she'll put the picture and then people actually vote on it. It goes out and she'll always send the link to staff members if one of our students is
No.
like into that. So, I mean, that would be something too. Yeah.
No, what I'm talking about is Scholastics does this big nationwide competition, and our region is like Wayne, Oakland, Macomb. And what they do, they used to have the students submit the artwork. The teachers took the artwork down wherever they were doing, just like we do, and they would judge them. Now what they do is the students have open registration time, say a month. They upload their images. Then there's a week time when people get together and they view those images, and then each category is judged based on those images. And then the ones that get like first, second, and third place, they do gold, silver, and bronze. But first and second place then go down to CCS, and there's an art show and they're on display. And then the first place ones end up going to nationals, which is usually in New York. So if we can't actually physically get together still in the spring, we could have students submit projects that way. Now I know for David, that might be a huge undertaking to try to do something like that and gather all those images. But the images would then be, so we would open up, say like maybe each of us would host a category type, you know, like I do MD20, say. Everybody that's got an MD20 would send it to me. And then I would be able to do even like a Zoom or something like that, or hopefully at that time, maybe, you know, 5 or 6 of us could get together in a room. We can put them up on a projector and then judge them.
Yeah, I think this is something too that, I mean, because Kevin's the rules committee chair, this is something that would have to actually be talked about with the actual rules committee, even just their little group of people. But it is like, it's, you know, this is good discussion though. That's good things to put out there.
Right. It's just that, you know, it's possible. There are things that we can do to make it happen for students. Is it the best? Is it ideal? Maybe not, but at least it's something for, you know, like I know I have seniors this year that are like, oh, I was really hoping to get, you know, my MITES first place this year kind of thing. And so it will at least give us some opportunity maybe.
There has been, I don't know what the rules committee has, but it was brought up that projects from last year, you will be able to put them in this year if we can have a competition. But I don't know what they came up with. So it's in discussion for projects, last year's projects, to be able to enter into this coming year's competition.
Is that for seniors only or anybody?
No, I think it was for anybody. I'm not sure. It's all discussion. It's all, and I don't know how the rules committee, I know they met a few times, but I don't know where they're at with everything yet.
Well, I think it's a good idea because especially the seniors, they like to have it on their record.
Yeah.
Apply for jobs and stuff, colleges.
But the biggest thing would be is how do you get the projects from, you know, like a lot of them, that's going to be the biggest problem, I think. So.
What would you do? Get another conference area going or what?
So.
A larger one?
But I know the rules committee, they've talked about it, but nothing, they haven't settled on anything.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there for something that we could think about in the future, that it is doable and there is possibility, but, you know, kind of take that, you know, in stride as we start the year, for most of us virtual, for student projects and stuff. I'm just sending this out in the chat too, but I'm struggling with trying to find some kind of architectural software to use, since our lowest common denominator is a Chromebook. Our AutoCAD software doesn't work. I'm using the OnStar for the mechanical, but struggling for the architecture side. Anybody got any ideas?
Yeah, all you drafting people.
I'm doing a quick, whoops, cut myself off there. Doing a quick look right now, Lois.
I don't know. This is Mark Skodek from Traverse City. I've been extensively trying to do research on that as well. Home styler was something I used during the spring, but has very limited support, and it's great for floor plans, but not really great for exterior. Currently looking at the SketchUp suite. If you are a member of the G Suite for your school district, that should be free for everybody to use. It's not going to be like Revit, but that might be something that we could use. And that's what I'm looking at getting into more.
Mark, does it work on a Chromebook?
It is all online, and
Okay.
I'm in the same boat as you. My kids are Chromebooks. We have a 1-to-1 ratio, and trying to find anything and everything that I could use online that works with a Chromebook is kind of my goal.
One of the resources our ARC person uses is called Floor Planner. It looks like it's free for schools, but I don't know if that's going to change. So that may be something. She said it's not like Revit or anything else, but it does work on everything. So she's kind of taking things down to that denominator.
I haven't had a chance to try it either, but somebody said that the Fusion 360 by Autodesk was supposed to be cloud-based and would work on Chromebooks.
They've been saying that for 3 years.
And it's still
It is cloud-based, but there's still a portion of it that has to be downloaded and run off of a machine. So it's still not totally cloud-based. It is 95% cloud-based, but there's still a portion that has to be resident on the computer to run.
With Floor Planner, I was looking at that one as well. Is there any exterior applications for that that anybody knows?
I guess that's something we'll have to look into.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's a question. Would it be useful to create a list of things that people can look into and maybe report back to the membership at large?
Sure.
Okay. I'll see if I can pull something together for that.
For those of you doing mechanical, Onshape actually has the next level where you can actually go in and see student work and basically work while they're working. You can actually edit their file and stuff. They're opening that up to schools for free for this year. So if you want, it's a little bit more like the Fusion, where with Fusion you belong to that project and you can edit the project and stuff also. So I'm in the process right now of getting that set up, and you can have it set up for your district. So it's not per teacher or per room or that kind of thing. And they're offering it out free this year. Right now, they don't know if they're going to be charging for it next year. I guess, just like everybody else, we're all being fluid with what's what and trying to figure stuff out. But if you're teaching mechanical, that may be something worth looking into.
I want to interject real quick. In the district where I'm at, 36% of our kids don't have internet at home. So I don't know if you guys have anybody that's in that position, but that's something that we need to think about too.
Yeah, our district is providing hotspots out in those areas where kids don't have connection. I mean, we even have staff that doesn't have very good connection in certain areas. And so they're trying to do some hotspot things to get those kids ability to get online or better.
Does everybody, I mean, like in my district, we're doing basically an A/B day. I have 1 through all odd hours one day, even hours the next, and then just keeps rolling like that.
At this point, we are starting the school year in person,
In person.
but it's going to look very, very different.
Right.
Lauren, where are you?
Petoskey?
Okay, so the north, I just heard the northern states, a lot of them are northern counties, sorry. The northern counties, a lot of them were doing face-to-face because they're in phase 5, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I guess
Lois, I'm not that far north, and we're in phase 4. We're still face-to-face too.
Yeah, so are we, but Jeff, your district, you're doing something, you still doing that same plan that you had said, the breaking up the kids up into 2 groups, or?
Yeah, we're doing 2 groups. Morning will be, so 24 kids in the morning, 24 in the afternoon, split into 12 and 12. Group 1 goes Monday, Tuesday. Group 2 goes Thursday, Friday, and then Wednesdays are online education day. All of Van Buren County is kind of a mixture, but at the technology center, we're doing what I just described. North of us in Allegan, I just talked to Andy Finley today, who teaches construction trades up there. They're starting off 100% face-to-face, even though that there's districts in Allegan that are not doing that. They've told their kids they're coming 5 days a week. So
Ottawa County is the same way.
yeah,
I've talked to a couple of the kids I know that are going to tech center for different things, and they said, nope, everything we hear, we're everybody, 100%.
Are there any of the virtual academy, like 100% online things where they're offering elective classes anywhere?
That I don't know.
Our school is offering an online option for people who don't feel safe returning in person. And it's through Accelerate, which is through Genesee ISD. And they have fully online electives.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Yeah, which is taking away from our CTE programs. And the fully online electives don't have to be taught by a specialized teacher in that area. They can basically be taught by any person with a teaching certificate. So we have, science teachers teaching online graphic design.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's a problem.
it's
Yeah.
a huge problem.
Yeah, we're using the same thing. This is Josh Briggy in Rogers City, using the same thing, Accelerate program. However, I have not heard what classes I am teaching yet, so we'll see what happens.
Here's a thought. Has anybody thought about trying to build a fully online version of our CTE classes? Just so that, because I think having kids doing distance learning or homeschooling or things like that could very well in the future become a norm. If we could offer that option, and maybe a group of us who are, say, drafting people, build out a template that members could take and then build out a course online. Is there any interest in that?
our district, I'm in Rochester in Oakland County, our district specified what the format was going to be, so that might be a problem, but our business teacher fought to get a class, so she's doing fully virtual business class. We also have the programming classes that will be online, but basically she just took her Moodle class and added some things to it, and it became the online virtual class. So I don't know. I think maybe David, with the resources, if we're going to be adding videos and things like that, when the district decides this is what format we're using, it would be easy to pull those resources into that format. Because who knows if you're going to use Schoology or Moodle or Brightstar or whatever you might use, you might not be able to blend them over easy if we start with an actual format, or the format might not match what the school has. I mean, I'm all up for it, but right now my CTE teacher won't pay because they're not CTE certified classes.
Well, I guess I was thinking more of just a template, and then of what, like, materials and stuff. And then if somebody wants to pull that down, they could download the videos or handouts or other stuff and stick them into whatever system they want to use.
I've, Josh again, I've acquired camera equipment and so on and so forth because I've been thinking this is coming down the line. And I haven't yet made the videos, but that's something I'm gearing towards. And I was just going to use the YouTube platform, but hey, I'm open to any options. And I thought it'd be a good idea that I could use for the kids, whether we're in class face to face or not, just on the, you know, absentees and kids being able to attack, safety concerns and so on.
I agree with Josh. I'm doing the same thing for engineering class, CAD class, and architecture.
Does anybody?
Boy, Pete, this sounds familiar. Like we had this conversation a few years ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
So here's where I'm at. You know, I have done wood shop for 15 years, construction trades for the past 3 years, and it's been a goal of mine to develop a online library of information that we can all share. And this is kind of forcing us to do that now. The problem that I just have is, you know, when do I have time to do that? And then, you know, now that we're put in the position where we have to, it's just going to be, you know, like on Wednesdays when I don't have kids is when I'm going to start doing videos. But, you know, I've had to actually pull content to supply my kids right now that's a professional content, but I'd rather have it come straight from me because it's better to come straight from the shop than, you know, a video of a guy that kind of does what you do in the class.
I agree.
So,
I do too.
Yeah.
And I did this when I was in Alaska, and it was just the very bare bones basic safety tutorials using the joiner, using the planer, table saw, etc. Yeah, the challenge I'm having is trying to get a student to focus for more than 10 minutes. I mean, you know, they're great at watching videos, but, you know, they like to pick the content. We're talking about construction trades and woodworking and welding and metalworking, you know, it's that hands-on piece that I'd like to transfer in somehow. And I haven't yet had that conversation with my principal or superintendent.
so the way that Robert Hughes out in Berrien Springs did construction trades this spring, kind of part of the MCTA group that I'm part of as well. We all discussed what we were doing, and Robert's idea was to do like the balsa wood house kit that you guys have probably seen for architecture and stuff like that. He made those for his students, supplied each student with a kit, a glue gun, some pins, piece of foam for the foundation, and he asked them to make the house model based off of the plans that they were building for real at the job site. So that's how he did this spring. Chris Garzilla, the guy that I teach with in Van Buren, this fall is going to be doing all of the documents in a notebook, so he doesn't have to worry about getting online. All he has to do is a conference call with his kids. I, on the other hand, am going to be using Google Classroom with the Cengage Mindtrap learning management system and doing everything online. And then when we're in the lab space together, that's when we're going to do the, you know, we're not going to sit in the classroom and lecture. It's just going to be a flipped classroom, basically. So that's the direction that I'm taking it. And then the content that I'm going to be building is going to be more of a reference than, or a reference library for the kids rather than a watch this video and let's take a test on it.
I think the thing with videos, and I know Josh, you had mentioned the time, and I think you have to keep them short because then you lose the kid. And it's like anything. I mean, I've watched anything over 10 minutes on a YouTube video. I even check out. So I think, you know, I like the short ones where you get to the point, and that to me, that's the trickiest part about shooting or doing the videos, is keep them short so that the kids stay interested in it for that little bit of time.
Jim, I was talking to Rick Sillette. Would you like him to try to put some type of journal together and maybe send projects?
Maybe I'll talk. Yeah. Well, Yeah, but well, that's something I think we should meet with the exec board, and not during this meeting, but it's a good point though.
There's a video channel I like to make stuff on YouTube, and they did a series that they called Bits. It's like 2-minute videos on a specific tool, like how to use it, like a screwdriver. What are the different types? How do you use them? Why do you use them? I think that would be a great kind of thing if we could start doing something like that to figure out how to get all these things made for the various different industries we cover.
The techniques kind of thing.
One of the ideas I had to follow up, to follow up on those videos, and I know they can jump around, but just to keep their interest, I was thinking of doing something of the sort for like a name this tool at the end of each video.
Yeah, sounds good.
Something of that sort. And you know, one of the requests I have, you know, coming into Rogers City here, they just want to know what the basics tools are and what they're used for. I mean, you know, we're in a different generation, right? And like I said, I've been acquiring, and my wife is great with the editing stuff and the videos. I mean, it's all going to take time, but if we could put a list together, you know, I'd be glad to, you know, I just know my piece, you know, but, you know, if anybody wants to have input on that, and we can kind of collectively work towards it.
Anything good?
You know what? Let me, Josh, if you don't mind, I'll start putting a list together of people who would be interested in this and share it out to the general membership. Or if you guys want to send me an email, I can put you on the list, and then we can start organizing and figuring out who wants to make what stuff.
I think when we do this, David and Josh, I think we need to have a consistent format, I guess it would be, you know, like I shared the video that I did. Obviously it's crude. I'm a woodshop construction trades teacher, not a, you know, cinematographer. So, you know, if one person's doing the editing and keeps the format or the theme similar, I think that would go a long way with continuity with the students, rather than, you know, this guy's doing a black background and white letters, and then this guy's camera is shaky. And, you know, I think if we all did the same, you know, if we all got together, we'd have to just ship it out to one person, all the raw footage and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's just my thought. I'm willing to help out any way that I can.
The thing is, this isn't going to happen overnight, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we'll do the best we can with what I got right now, but you know, this is going to be in the making throughout the year, and then a learning curve, like anything.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've already started building some branding, like a short YouTube video intro for MITES, and some of that stuff. So maybe, I'll say it. If I'll take on the editing job, if people want to.
Go. Here's the thing, though. I think it's good, though, if they're all slightly different, because then the kid's not zoned into, oh, here's another one, blah, blah. They're learning from a different person. They're learning a different way. That person teaches a little bit differently. I think it's good for the kids to be exposed to that. And I think it's good for them to see me make a mistake on that video, that I don't have to edit that mistake out. So it doesn't have to be what we consider, you know, a professional video. If it gets the information across, it gets the information across. So I think it's good for the kids to see different formats and that kind of stuff, because it kind of would keep them more engaged, I think, rather than, oh, here's another, like when I was in high school, my science teacher did this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, you know, it was the same old rote thing. So I think that variety might be a good thing.
I agree with you, or I think another way we could go about it too is have the kids that are in class videotape it and have them make the movies.
That'd work. Yeah.
I'm
David,
actually doing that for my extra credit this year.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Hey, Jeff.
David, follow up on what you said. Sorry,
Jeff,
go ahead.
Freelander. You want to get together with me after, and we'll make a list of things that we might want to have videotaped?
Yeah.
Out as a list, and we had come up with sort of a format, A, B, C, D, E, what to include, you know, in the presentation. And then we can have a library, you know, a huge library of things for people to pick from.
Yeah, David, I think I wasn't thinking. I mean, it's way too much work for one person to take on, and I appreciate but I kind of agree with the idea of everybody doing their own piece. I mean, I'll pull up YouTube videos, especially this last year. I mean, we had nothing to work with in the shop for the first few months, right? So, I mean, I was pulling up YouTube videos, and you know, you kind of give the intro of. Hey, I've known Pete for years and he's this awesome teacher and I just wish I could follow in his footsteps and, you know, here's a taste of what he's got going on. You know what I'm saying? I agree with that point that, hey, we don't need to each be the master of all. We can just use each other and kind of, and I guess if I'm a kid sitting in front of a computer at home, I don't want to look at the same mug every day either, especially if it's mine.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, I think if we could come up with like your intro, your credits, and kind of get that out to whoever's working on the project, we could have a very similar looking video from one to the other without having the editing burden on one person.
Yeah, that's possible. So do we want to start with a list?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually putting a document together. I'm going to figure out how I can share it out to everybody.
Hey, this
Get together later. You can start generating a list and put it out.
David, if you want to use that Drive link, I have that set as a public link right now. So if you wanted to throw it in there, you could do that.
Okay.
Like mostly, I'm bored. I'm looking for something to do.
Hey, this might not. All right, who's up? Sorry. I've got a completely related question. Where are we at with membership and stuff like that? Like I'm not sure if I even paid up.
No.
For this last year.
So I have a list of everybody that paid for last year.
Okay.
And all we did is I just pushed them. They're good for this year. And I know you were lost because you switched schools and then all this thing. So I know for a fact that you are not on the list of people that paid for last year that just got pushed for this year. So yeah. And so.
Thank you.
I do know that, Josh, because and then I didn't even know where you were. I found out through somebody else where you were teaching.
Yeah. Got it.
How about for those of you that are teaching virtual, are you required to go into your building and teach? And what are you finding is your best setup for teaching virtual?
I have to be in my building to do, well, on Monday is our start of PD, our virtual PD, that we have to go into the building, sit in our office and virtually meet that way. And that's how we'll be doing our online learning as well.
Yeah, Louis, we are required to go into school every single solid day. And we're actually teaching the hour that our students are meeting with us. So they want live teaching.
Wow.
Like, so if I'm teaching construction first hour, I meet with those students live first hour. But our district passed a bond where we have cameras. And what they want is they want us to set up the camera and us to teach right in front of our interactive whiteboard. So like all the kids' faces will be up on the interactive smart TV. And we'll teach right from the front of our classroom every day.
Is anybody planning on teaching from the lab, you know, from a metal shop or workshop?
Yeah, I'm going to not do some live stuff, but do some recorded stuff that I'll then use for it. But we're also doing, I'm actually sending materials and stuff home to my students. So every student is going to get a hot glue gun, a pair of kitchen shears, and then for the individual projects, the amount of hot glue they would need in either cardboard or poster board or foam core. And I'm going to have them build projects that way.
I think I'm not really out of touch. I need to grow a beard.
I just shaved mine off.
I used to have a beard when I was in the Navy.
Hey, Adam, how big is your district?
We have 15,500 students. Yeah, so 4 high schools, 4 middle schools, like 30 something elementaries.
All right.
15,500 total students.
Wow, didn't realize you guys were that big.
Yeah. Yeah. And we actually still have schools in our county that haven't closed or gone virtual, even though Macomb County is the highest cases in the entire state. So the fact that they're not going virtual is insane to me. But we are seeing some kids start to jump ship with school of choice, you know, because the parents want their free babysitting service. Right. So they're leaving to go to nearby districts who are going face-to-face.
The only reason I ask is our district, you know, talked about doing the full virtual teaching. However, even in Frankenmuth, we don't have, our tech guy said we don't have the bandwidth. So I'm starting to wonder if your district has the bandwidth with, I don't know, 300 teachers, 400 teachers?
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure how many teachers we have. Yeah.
But
apparently we do, though.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would assume so. Otherwise, there's going to be a heck of a lag every day because, like I said, it's live hour to hour. So we're teaching that class in that hours, and every teacher's going to be doing it. So
that's going to be interesting.
In our district, we offered virtual. We're 25 to 2,600 students. Around 400 are doing a virtual. But the secondary kids, it won't, and we're using a service for that. So none of our teachers will be teaching the virtual. But in the elementary, and then I'm not sure what elementary is doing, but I know in secondary, so our team, because we're doing face-to-face. But what I did hear through some of the people in like the core classes is they have to, whatever the virtual, they have to kind of make sure they're aligned with the virtual teacher, because at that semester, we can go back to everything and these kids leave the virtual and come back to the regular classroom. They want to make sure that they're on the same, within, same platform, I guess, within each other. So
yeah, that's exactly what we're doing too.
Some of the core teachers are, one science teacher, he's like, what the heck? I got to change my whole chemistry lessons that I'm teaching in person to match so it's, to me, it's some of them are, it's going to be a struggle.
So for those of you who are doing face-to-face, how many families are opting out of face-to-face and doing the online? I don't know those numbers yet for our school district. They're supposed to, I think today is the deadline for them to sign up.
Petoskey has about 20% at the high school and about 25% at the lower levels.
Yeah, like I said, last I knew, the number was 400 total students out of the 2,600 we have.
Yeah, Royal Oak's looking at about 15% across the board.
It's a little bit lower than I anticipated, actually. So, Pete, what you're saying is there's a possibility that these kids may all come back. There may not be an option for online learning down the road. I mean,
for the whole year, they'll have that option. If things, change, they would have the option. If you chose the online learning in our district, you have to stay in it for the 18 weeks for the first semester. And then you can, after that, if you want to finish it out, then you can, or you can come back into the school.
Yeah, we've got the same setup the way I understand it.
Yeah.
See, they told us that they can come back if there's room for them to come back, because they're redoing all the schedules. So if they take a 4th grade teacher and they make them an online teacher, then that online teacher might not, you know, if they don't have enough kids that go back into the classroom, that teacher might still be teaching online. So because we're not using a separate service, there might not be a teacher for them to go back to.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, we have two teachers in my building that are going to manage all the we have I heard our number is like 130 middle schoolers that are doing online, and there's two teachers that are going to manage them, but they're not going to teach. They're just going to be the person to make sure they go into the classroom and they do everything they're supposed to be doing. Kind of like, you know, like we have an online, our high school students do online learning, and you just have somebody that kind of observes them.
So how many of you are teaching in person, face to face, and teaching online? We're being required to do both for all classes.
Not me.
At the same time?
The only way I'll be teaching online is if we ended up shutting down. Then I would teach the students that I have face to face. They would be my students online. I wouldn't have anybody else.
Okay.
That's the same as me.
Yeah. And then I would do it from my classroom. I'd be able to come into the building, and a lot easier than it was in the spring.
So am I the only one having to do both? I'm getting gypped on this.
I think so. I think you're getting.
Josh, if we go back face to face, then I would have to do both. So I would have the online virtual school for those kids that opted for it, and I would have mine. And the reason they said that is because that way teachers all keep full class loads. So, you know, if I had 20 of my kids opt to go virtual, then I would go part-time if I didn't teach those kids online.
Sure.
So to keep full teacher schedules, that's what they're making us do, is full-time face-to-face and online if we end up going back face-to-face.
Oh, wow.
Josh, we're both here in Sheboygan. We're offering both online and in person for the same format. So I'm with you. I have to do both.
We were told here we were going face to face, but knowing the situations, I'm preparing to do both. I'm trying to set things up that if we do end up having, you know, I'm preparing if I have students that want to stay home or are forced to stay home, I can still have them working on stuff and not fall behind or get out of sync with everybody else. So I personally am looking at doing it as a hybrid program no matter what.
I'm with Mike on that one. Especially if we have to switch back and forth. I don't want to have to lose the progress I've already made. So I'm actually putting multiple formats of lessons and assignments up so that kids can switch back and forth.
Okay, so for all of you that we're all juggling everything up in the air, what are you posting your assignments on? Like, we're required to use Google, but I can, like, they have to come into Google to find their schedule and find their assignments, but I may actually have all my assignments posted in Moodle. What's everybody using for students to go do the work in?
I'm using Google Classroom, but I'm communicating it using the Remind app. And the reason I'm doing that is because in Remind, you're able to view how many students have opened the text. And if 87% of the kids open the text, then 2 of them do the assignment. You know they got that text and they knew the assignment was there. So I send the link out to the assignment through the Remind app for them to access on Google Classroom. And then that assignment's there in the Google Classroom. It might be done in the Google Classroom, or it might be part of the learning management system that we purchased for my class, you know, another link that they have to follow that way. It's just what works for me. You know, you guys are probably going to be doing something completely different.
Jeff, it's been a while since I used the Remind app. It used to be only by phone number. Is there another way?
Phone and email.
Email works now? Okay.
Yep. And it's actually pretty cool on the computer now too. It's a lot easier to use both mobile and through the computer. A lot more, I guess, features than it used to have. So the other thing that I've done too, you know, I've always been cautious on sharing my personal cell phone number or personal phone number at home with the kids. Google Voice gives you a phone number that you can share, and it's not tied to any personal stuff. So I've done that as well.
Jeff, one thing I did with Google Voice is I took my desk phone and I forwarded it to a Google Voice number.
Yep.
So now my because kids don't always want to be on the video. So now they were calling me up and we could work through a problem over the phone, or I could talk to the parent and just sort it out that way. And it was a lot less headaches for everybody.
The other nice thing about voice that I found too is it keeps the call log. So if you're ever needing to document parent contacts, you're able just to print that log off rather than sift through your personal call log on your cell phone.
David, could you explain that again, how you forwarded it? I missed that.
So on our desk phones at work, we can forward those to another number. So what I did is I called up IT and said, hey, can you guys remotely forward my desk phone? They didn't know if they actually could, so they figured that out. And so now when a student calls into my extension at work, it automatically goes right to my cell phone. And they also don't see my cell number. They see the Google Voice number.
Sorry. So we're Law here. This is Jim Thielander again. Did you guys send me an email on all the different techniques that you're going to try to use? I'm going to put it out on a newsletter, give people ideas. And then if they want to follow up, they can follow up with an email to you.
You know what, Jim? If you could compile that list for me, I'll start publishing that all on the website.
Yeah.
Or we can, and that way we can send it out to people in one format. If you want to help me get that together, that'd be great.
Super.
Okay.
So what? There's 6 guys. How many guys on the phone right now?
21.
Send me something to get started. What kind of techniques are you using so we can pass them out? And we'll get them going. My email is drslick62@gmail.
Okay.
slick62@gmail. Dr. Slick.
Well, Pete, we're coming up on that hour mark. Do we want to start wrapping things up, or are there big things that anybody wants to talk about still?
Are we going to do this again?
That was going to be my wrap-up question. I mean, do you guys want to do this monthly, maybe?
Or more time, you know, like a Saturday or an evening, you know, because like most of us next week we start. Some are already back this week, some next week. I mean, we obviously have to do it early afternoon. What would work?
I got lucky. I only had kids Wednesday and Thursday.
Well, one of the things I want to ask you before we wrap it up is, can you guys take pictures or have pictures of senior projects and send those in and we'll get them posted? Even though we didn't place to have a competition, but I think the kids need to get recognized if you can do that. We can put out a journal with a bunch of pictures.
Well, and this is just a reminder that any student project that didn't go to last year's state competition, we're creating a category to compete in this year's state competition. So students who wanted to bring their projects this year will be able to from last year.
How about kids who are seniors this year?
Yeah, they would be able to get them. If the teacher can get them and bring them, they could bring them to it. So
So
I
I've
know
got,
that's something that the rules committee has to discuss. That's a rules committee, the whole thing, that's something that Kevin needs to be involved in.
Well, what I wanted to do is just, they didn't get judged, right? The seniors have graduated and gone. I'd like to have their projects in a journal, in a picture.
Yeah, that'd be something the teachers would have to email.
Yeah, we could talk to Rick about that, but also getting the
that'd be a big
resources for stuff.
Yeah,
We
so
can
I
work
guess
on
the recognition for their effort, you know.
Sure.
I've got a quick question about categories. So teaching construction trades, obviously, I'm not going to bring the house to the competition. But we do make the cabinets from scratch. So it's a group project that we build the entire kitchen from raw material. Where would that fit into a category? Would that be a group category or would that group category?
Yep, it would have to be.
All right. And
That'd be
then
a Kevin question. That would get a hold of Kevin and he would be able to answer it for you. A lot
okay,
better.
I'll get his information then. Thanks, Pete.
Quick question before we break for next month's meeting. Do we want to have a specific topic or just have general conversation?
Well, we should probably have some topics to cover and then general conversation. What
Yeah,
kind
I
of things we need to cover as a group, right, to keep things moving forward.
Okay.
And, you know, come up with questions as they come up.
I think this video library thing we're talking about, we need to set some goals for so it just doesn't get backburnered.
Sure.
I know
Well,
this.
Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I know this is a monthly thing, but I really think we're going to come to some major realizations over the course of the next week or two. So maybe we should try another one of these, you know, within a week or two so that we can see where everybody's at and what we need to do to adapt.
Okay.
The adage is you're either moving forward or moving backward. There's no standing still.
Is there a day of the week that would work better for everybody, given that we're all going to be back to work in the very near future?
Well, if you're talking a couple of weeks, you're going to be Labor Day weekend, so it probably wouldn't be good for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What if we did it, you know, say after 3 o'clock or 3:30 on a particular day?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. You want to do it the week after Labor Day? I know that's pushing it out a little far, but or do you want to try and do it before?
Well, a lot of schools aren't starting until after Labor Day now.
Yeah, I think after.
Push them back.
So we'll say, I'll look at the calendar. We'll say that week after Labor Day.
What do you want? Like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, I'm thinking kind of the back half of the week.
So you're looking at 9th, 10th, and 11th of September.
Okay. Let me find my calendar tab here.
This looks like it's been successful. There's 68 people signed on.
Let's say, how's the 11th at like 4 o'clock sound?
Everybody good with meeting on a Friday afternoon?
I think Fridays would be bad.
I agree.
Would be bad?
Like a Sunday afternoon. I mean, you're not, to me, that would be.
Well, do you guys want to do a Saturday morning maybe? Like 11 o'clock?
Personally, I'd prefer either in the evening or earlier morning. I don't know. But you gotta do whatever works for all.
You know what? How about this? I'll send out a survey to the membership and I'll put in like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a couple of different time slots, and we can see where the majority of people are at.
There you go.
Okay. I'll send that out probably by Monday morning then.
Good job, guys.
If not, somebody remind him. If he doesn't, somebody make sure you send him an email. Then he'll get it out. It happens.
And about 6 text messages.
Yeah.
Is he calling you out, Dave?
I think he is, but that's fine. It's
No,
totally
that's fine. We both call each other out. because we say things and then we get busy and
That never happens to teachers.
no.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. This was a very productive meeting, I thought, and we'll start gathering stuff to get this video library project rolling and see where we can go.